Who is the greatest billionaire entrepreneur of all time? You guys get to decide. Today is Sara Blakely against Azim Premji. Up first is Sara Blakely, a billionaire businesswoman who started Spanx with only $5,000 and without any investors. She initially planned to become an attorney and now is worth over $1.1 billion. She's up against Azim Premji, an Indian business tycoon who's the chairman of Wipro Limited and is informally known as the czar of the Indian IT industry. He's currently the second richest person in India with an estimated net worth of $21.5 billion. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1 from Sara Blakely, believe.
You famously started Spanx with $5,000 in your bank account. What was the hardest part about getting Spanx off the ground?
The hardest part about getting Spanx off the ground was definitely in the very beginning, when you first have an idea as an inventor and you've thought of something that doesn't exist and you want to bring it into the world. There were 2 things that were happening. One was my own self-doubt was a really hard part of the journey. And then the beginning of all the manufacturers that I was having to cold call and talk to try to get my product made were all men. And it was much harder to explain and to try to get them to understand the concept of what the product was. So I heard the word no for 2 straight years trying to get it made, which then increases the self-doubt that can happen. And one of the interesting things about being an inventor is you don't go to school for it. There isn't an inventor class. You can't major in inventing. And so it's really a belief system in yourself and the willingness to look stupid or to have people laugh at you or to fail at something that you believe in. You're your own gut check on that. And so it takes a lot of confidence. So that was the hardest part of my journey. There was a lot of starting and stopping and like, am I crazy? And everyone's saying no. But I kept picking myself back up to pursue it.
Over to rule number 1 from Azim Premji, fail as fast as you can.
We must allow for creative failure when it comes to generating ideas. It is inevitable. No one likes failure, particularly business leaders. But unfortunately, all evidence suggests that it is impossible to generate few good ideas without a lot of bad ideas. And bad ideas are expensive, but they have to be tolerated. As the Physics Nobel Prize winner, Feynman said, "I try to fail as fast as I can." That is the best way to move forward on a new idea. Fail as fast as you can. Failure should be forgiven and forgotten as long as the lessons are remembered and recycled.
Also, if you want to have more confidence, check out my 254 series. They're free. The links to join are in the description below.
To make changes in any organization, you have to have a measure of very high persistency.
From day one, I never tried to hide that I was the girl in my apartment with the red backpack.
Back to Sara Blakely for rule number 2, trust your gut.
Trust your gut. It's so important to trust your gut. I saw a man speak one time and he said, "I'll prove to you in 4 words there's no such thing as a bad idea." And he said, "Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles." So I'm here today to prove to you in 2 words there's no such thing as a bad idea, and that's footless pantyhose. So no matter what your ideas are, you're doing something better than your competitors. That's why you're in business. You've thought of an idea. That's why you're here. And then be prepared for the opportunity.
And one more rule from Azim Premji, find your purpose.
You're asking is what should really motivate you?
Yeah.
I think that's a very personal question of what should really motivate you. I think the longest sustaining thing which should really motivate you is that something in which you're trying to quest for something to satisfy yourself and feel good about yourself. And decide what that is and be constant to that purpose and try to work for excellence in that area. And don't get too worried about what other people think of you all the time.
Now I've got a special bonus clip for you from both Sara Blakely and Azim Premji, but before that, you guys get to vote. It's time. Who is a greater billionaire entrepreneur? Who moves on to the next round? Who are you cheering for? Let me know. Cast your vote in the comments below.
One of the things I also do is I like to go up to people at Spanx and I say, I'm always trying to get people off autopilot. Like if you think about it, everything we do, almost everything we do in life is autopilot. We're doing things exactly the way someone else showed us how to do it or taught us how to do it. Well, if you're doing things exactly the way everyone else is, there's not going to be any real significant change. There's not going to be a really meaningful potential breakthrough. So I always go up to people at Spanx and say, if nobody showed you how to do your job, how would you be doing it? And I'll say, just sit with that. You know, I'm always, I'll stop myself often and just say, okay, you know, this is how I've been doing it, but is this right? And give yourself the time to think about it. So I ask people to do that.
The customer is a great source for ideas. The customer can actually participate in his getting better satisfaction, provided we can listen to the customer and what he or she has to say. And I think this is the most important thing in terms of customer visits, in terms of customer research, is how do you get the customer to say things or indicate things or give nuances of things which are really unsaid. And very often the customer himself or herself does not know about it. But that is the source of truly very, very interesting ideas.
And if you want to cast your vote in the Elon Musk versus John Paul DeJoria battle, check out the video right there next to me. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
You actually have a distillation of all the worst problems in the company. There's no point in spending your time on things that are going right.